Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to chat with you, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And I do want to point out that you have one of the most fascinating names in the Kentucky music scene. Katie Didit. Whatever
Yeah, it's
she.
not the name. It's not the name that I was born with technically, but
Yeah,
I'm use it as a a pseudonym of sorts for a stage act.
stage out indeed. So, nonetheless, such a fascinating stage name. I like it. It's
Thank you so
it's
much. My dad, whenever I was little, used to call me Katie did, so I just deprived it and grew it a little bit from out of that.
Shout out to Pops. Shout out to Pops indeed. We got a lot to talk about, Katie. You your band, Mama Says String Band, received some good news recently. Not only is the latest release, Mariah, is out on all digital music platforms, but y'all
Yes.
made the top five in the best bluegrass category for the 2021 Appalachian Arts and Entertainment Awards. Congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you so much.
So, how did it feel to get your name called and being in the top five? How did that feel?
It obviously it always kind of feels like a little unreal because whenever you do things like this, you create music and you write songs. I don't think anyone ever does it for reasons of acknowledgement later on. So when it happens, it always catches you a little off guard, but I'm always happy about it. Another thing, especially about that award too, is I know we play bluegrass instruments, but I don't necessarily consider my band to be bluegrass. I think we're more of a songwriter band that has different influences, but we do play the instruments that most traditional bluegrass bands have. So while I am super happy we got nominated, sometimes I feel like maybe the other nominees were more deserving of the title of bluegrass than we are. But either way, I'm just happy to have our name counted beside so many other talented people.
That's fair enough. I can understand, people can put artists and bands in a box trying to figure out what type of music that they do. Um, so with that being said, for people that may not be familiar with Mama Says String Band, how would you best describe the type of music that they do?
Well, if I could go down the line, I would say our violin player, David O'Neill, he was trained classically when he was younger. So I feel like a lot of that influence comes out. Caitlin is a big Grateful Dead fan. She's always been a part of a lot of jam circles, going to the Terrapin scene growing up and stuff like that. I was raised in Whitesburg, Kentucky, so I've got a lot of old time influence, I would say. And Taylor also does a lot of classical music and has a lot of jazz inspiration. I would say I like the jazz and swing stuff too. So we kind of all just bring to the table songs that we each have individually written, and we build from that point. I feel like a lot of bluegrass bands stick to traditional tunes that have already been written and sang over the decades, and what we do is original music. So I guess that would be the only way that it's different. Sometimes we do have a ton of bluegrass influence, though. Don't get me wrong. There are songs that sound exactly bluegrass. It's got a classic bluegrass beat with the bass, and we have banjo rolls and all of that good stuff. But I would say more so than just traditional bluegrass, it's a singer songwriter band.
Awesome. So definitely a lot of versatility in the type of
Yeah.
music that y'all do, which I've always have respect for artists that has multiple influences and just put it all together and make it work. Definitely, chemistry and togetherness definitely plays a factor into that. So I've heard so many good things about Mama Says String Band in the past 5 to 6 years that I have supported local music. I don't think we've ever met each other before. I know we
No,
have.
I don't think so either. But I just want to tell you thank you for doing everything that you do. Because as a musician in the scene, Anybody that is a constant supporter of original music and supports people in the arts has already won me over, so I already consider you a friend.
I appreciate that. Tell the rest of the band I say hello, and I see that y'all do have some shows coming up. From my understanding, well, you got a solo show coming up at the Fish Tank
I
next month.
do.
Actually, that's next week on Valentine's Day weekend. That place is formerly known as Best Friends Bar. I didn't even know that they were under a different name.
Yeah, so actually that has an interesting story behind it. My good friend Brian Engel and Trez, who also ran Cosmic Charlie's, bought the bar back and have renamed it the Fish Tank. My other band quite literally just played there, and it has a great vibe. It just kind of feels like the Cheers scenario where you go somewhere where everyone knows your name. It's full of music supporters and familiar faces. But they're also doing it very responsibly right now. I feel like myself, quite literally, and Mama Said String Band have been very particular about where we have chosen to play because we address that the pandemic is very real and we want, first and foremost, for our fans to remain safe. And so the Fish Tank has done a very good job at enforcing that all masks be worn at all times unless you are drinking your beverage. But even while you're sitting at your table just listening, it's still required to wear a mask, and they have a very limited capacity. So most shows are hard to get into right now, but I feel more comfortable keeping the people that are there safe.
I have not been there since Best Friend Bar closed its doors, and I'm very encouraged that that particular building is back up and running, and let alone having live music there. So that's very encouraging. It's definitely important to keep these venues, these places going, keep their businesses afloat while this pandemic is still ongoing. And I understand a lot of hesitation from people that want to stay home, and that's fine too. Whatever, use your own
I
judgment, I
agree.
guess.
I agree. I feel like a lot of people, everyone should have their own right to choose what they want to do,
Yeah,
obviously. But I do think that there is a way that these businesses that they've worked so hard to stay open throughout this time. It's been a big hit to them. It's been a big hit for promoters, for venues, for musicians, everyone. And so we're just now slowly opening the door back. And I want everyone to do it safely so we can have it back. It's so much of our lives that I can't imagine. This past year's been really hard because I've not had my same routine of playing shows every weekend. And when I had that taken away, it really made me appreciate it more. I guess the saying goes, the room is always darkest after the light goes out. If there had never been a light at all, it wouldn't seem so dark, right?
true, true. And with that being said, I'm definitely look forward to make my way to the fish tank in the future. They've been, the people behind Best Friends Bar, they've been good to me. As a guy that goes
I
there,
also attended when it was Best Friends Bar. My
yeah,
friend Jared always worked the door there, and it also had a great vibe then.
yeah,
I've always liked that little bar and just the energy that it holds inside of it.
yeah. It's pretty cool. It's just the challenging part is getting that good parking spot. It is
Yeah.
something else. Like if you're not like on the side, like across from the bar, like you're gonna be having a long walk on the way to that particular building. But I'm happy that that building is under different management and being having live music up and running. That's pretty cool, and I'm familiar with quite literally, which I like that name first of all, and quite literally you're gonna hear
Oh
us.
yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely a pun that we've used throughout the whole course of the band.
okay, so talk a little bit about quite literally. How did that came together?
So quite literally consists of myself and my partner Derek LaFountain and our violin player who's also one of my best friends, Emily Miller, and at times we have another one of my best friends and another Mama Said member, Taylor Shuck, will sit in with us. And we also have Shannon Better on our album who plays saxophone. Quite literally does shared songwriting the same way that Mama Said does, but we definitely have a different sound. We lean more towards swing music or slower, sadder singer-songwriter stuff, and a little bit of soul and R&B. Me and Derek both play guitar and upright bass, and we switch instruments during our sets. And I actually have rehearsal with Quite Literally tonight after I get off the phone with you.
Well, tell them I said hello, and they captured my heart with the soul and R&B part. I definitely have to check y'all out for sure.
All
That
right, I will. So if that's the side that you like, you need to check out Emily's songs that she writes. She's
okay.
the one that brings that to the table. There's a song online you can find called Belladonna that she wrote. It definitely has a funk vibe to it, but we don't have drums and we don't have electric bass. We still have an upright bass, but it still has the same rhythmic pattern as a funk song would. So I think you'd enjoy that.
Oh, definitely will check them out for sure. So let's talk about Mama Said recently released EP Mariah. That's out
Yes.
on all digital music platforms. Talk about recording that EP and what made y'all decide to name it Mariah.
So we had a hard hit earlier in the year. Prior, we had 5 members, and at the beginning of the pandemic, because we relied so heavily on our livelihood of making money playing live shows, it was hard for some of us to keep it going. So 2 of our members, Addie Filiatro and Stephanie Kidd, left the band, but we all left on very good terms. They're still 2 of my very best friends. There was no negativity in all of us splitting or parting ways. And then after that, we let Taylor Shuck join, who has been a long-term friend of ours as well. So we have been recreating our sound. We've been searching for a new direction and a new brand so we can still have the same energy that Mama Said has always had, but maybe with a different flair musically. And Mariah is actually a real person. They are one of our best friends, and they do all of our artwork. So the artwork that is on the EP, the artwork that's on our T-shirts and our designs was all drawn by Mariah. So she's a personal, good friend of all of ours that we respect and love. And we wanted to give them a little bit more credit by putting their name on the album because we wanted people to also see their art and what they do. They're also another musician that does electronic music and heavy beat EDM music, which is fantastic. We love it. So we figured this was a way to say thank you to another local artist by naming it after her.
That's awesome. That's love right there. That's genuine love right there. Putting her out there, and that's definitely rare to have like a group or a band have like a EP or album named after a band member. That is something that rarely happens in mainstream or independent. So this
Yeah,
is such an incredible record. I love it. I played a song earlier. I think I played the second song that was off the EP. I love
good
that
company.
song. Yeah, good company and definitely some good vibes in that song. I definitely enjoyed that one.
That song was written by our violin player, David. He's a fantastic songwriter.
Shout out to Dave. Shout out to all the members. Mama Says String Band. Mawaya is the name of the EP and a member of the group. That's out on all digital music platforms. And with this pandemic still ongoing, please support these artists. Streaming is cool. I stream a lot too. But buying the music will be so much better. Please do that too. And the merch if they have any. So yeah, I'll be buying some Mama Said merch or swag as the kids like to call it. Quite literally, if y'all have merch, I'll buy some of that too. I want to be a helping
Awesome.
hand.
Thank you so much. Everything that we have is, you can go to any of our Facebook pages and find our Etsy link if you wanted to buy physical copies of CDs from either band or T-shirts from either band.
Awesome. I'll definitely look into that in the next day or two. And one more question before I let you go. Um, Y'all going to be part of a very special milestone show coming up, courtesy of some good friends of ours, Renee Collins Cobb and Rachel Crow. Rachel is also nominated for the
Best
Appalachian
Blues.
Arts and Entertainment Awards as well, multiple categories. Congrats to her. They do a show together called Overtones, and for what Renee has told me a while back, they're doing shows at Austin City Saloon here in Lexington, and
Yes.
they got their 100th episode coming soon, and you and West of Mama Said String Band will be performing on that milestone show. So, how does that feel to be picked to perform on that particular show, considering it being a milestone for Renee and Rachel?
Well, I'll say first and foremost, Renee Cobb and Rachel Crow both are outstanding women. They do so much in this community to help bring light to independent artists. I can't thank them enough. Also, Renee and her husband Warren both have been Mama Said String Band supporters since day one. So before we really had any traction or attention, Renee and Warren reached out to us. They helped us. They got us booked on Red Barn Radio. Then later on, they got us booked on KET's Christmas special. I can't really explain how much or how appreciative I am of Renee herself for everything that she has done for me personally as an artist and for both of my bands. Uh, Overtones is an outstanding show. They don't have music on that show unless it's good and deserving. So to be the band that gets picked to do their 100th episode is super humbling. I'm just honored that they chose us to do it.
So that's coming up, I think, in March, I believe. I don't have the actual date in front of me. Renee will probably let me know, but it's coming real soon. So be
I
on the
think
look.
it is on March 10th. If that's a Wednesday, it's
Yeah,
March
that is a
10th.
Wednesday for sure.
Yeah.
So you have a well, okay, you got Fish Tank coming up in February, and then you got Austin City Salon in March, and multiple shows in between. So, and haven't really been out and about since this pandemic. I'm definitely because I'm good friends with Renee and Rachel. I definitely have to make my way to Austin City for that milestone show. Be a chance to see Rachel, Renee, and meet you all for the first time. I think
Yeah.
it's bound to happen. I'll have a mask on, obviously. You know, we ain't gonna be
The
hugging or
Austin City
anything.
Saloon is also doing it very well. Masks are also required to
Yeah.
attend there, and they also have limited capacity.
So shout out to Austin City Salon. Shout out to the Fish Tank and to all the venues that's doing their part to making sure everybody follow the guidelines and so forth. Katie, great chatting with you. Thank you so much for being on the show this evening. You are truly amazing, and I look forward to eventually meeting you, either if it's the Fish Tank or Austin City Salon. We will see each other in 2021 for sure.
I can't wait to
And
meet you in
so
person. And thank you so, so much for having me on your show.
appreciate you, continued success, and well, let's chat again in the future for sure.
Let's do it. I'm game.
All right. You have a good night.
You too as well. Thanks again.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.